The darkness of space was deep and still, a black ocean dotted with tiny, cold stars. The alien fleet drifted in formation near the edge of their territory, their sleek ships gleaming under the faint light of distant suns. Every sensor on every vessel was active, scanning the void for any sign of intruders. They were proud of their strength, confident that nothing could challenge their dominance in this sector. Then the alarms began to sound. On board the flagship of the alien fleet, the sensors screamed of an anomaly. A massive object was moving at speeds no alien craft could reach. Its energy signature was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It was not a familiar fleet, not a known weapon, not a natural phenomenon. It was something new and dangerous. Commander Terrell's claws gripped the edge of his console. "Report," he barked, his voice tense. "Sir, an unidentified warship is approaching," the sensor officer replied. "It moves faster than our calculations allow. Our scans cannot determine its full capabilities." Terrell's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. No ship can do this." "Yet, sir," the officer said, his voice tight. "The readings are confirmed. The object is real and it is heading directly toward us." The fleet fell silent. Even seasoned veterans shifted uneasily in their stations. A single, massive ship appearing out of nowhere was not just unusual, it was terrifying. Meanwhile, far away in the same sector, the human warship Intrepid moved steadily, almost lazily, through the void. Its hull gleamed with a strange metallic sheen, unlike the angular, sharp-edged designs of the alien fleet. On board, the crew moved with calm precision. Captain Adrian Kane stood in the command room, reviewing star charts and alien fleet data. His expression was relaxed, almost casual, but his eyes were sharp, alert. He did not speak. He did not need to. Every officer on the bridge knew their roles perfectly. "Sensors report movement," said Lieutenant Vera, glancing at the display. "Alien fleet, sir. They are trying to track us." Kane smiled faintly. "Let them try." His tone was calm, almost teasing. "We have time. Watch their reactions. They always underestimate humans." The bridge crew followed his orders silently, adjusting the ship's trajectory in tiny, precise increments. Their movements were so subtle that alien sensors would find it impossible to anticipate. Back in the alien fleet, panic began to spread. Ships shifted nervously, scanning again and again, trying to predict the impossible. Commander Terrell clenched his claws tighter. "Prepare interception. Deploy drones and monitor every vector. Do not let it escape detection." "Yes, Commander?" the officers shouted. The aliens activated every possible sensor, sending out probes and scanning beams. Yet the warship seemed always one step ahead, slipping through their detection like a shadow. Inside Intrepid, Kane watched the alien reactions through intercepted communications. He allowed a small grin to cross his face. Humans had faced worse odds before and always adapted. These aliens, despite their size and numbers, were predictable in their fear. "Prepare Phase 1, Kane ordered. Minimal engagement. Make them understand we are here, but do not reveal our full strength yet." Lieutenant Vera nodded. "Understood, sir. Deploying drones now." The human drones were small, almost invisible, but they were fast and clever. They zipped silently through space, sending signals back to the human ship. The aliens saw them as a minor threat and responded with full defensive measures, unaware that each human drone was testing their systems, gathering data, and probing weaknesses. The tension among the alien fleet grew. "Commander Terrell, our drones report nothing but strange readings. They cannot be tracked properly. Their weapons signatures are unusual." Terrell's eyes narrowed. "Unusual? What does that mean?" "It means, sir, we are dealing with a ship that moves and fights in ways we cannot predict," the fleet murmured. Ships shifted, unsure of their formations. Officers argued among themselves, some calling for a direct strike, others urging caution. Fear was spreading, and it was contagious. Kane watched and waited. "Now," he said softly, almost to himself. He pressed a button on the console. Suddenly, Intrepid made a small, almost imperceptible jump forward. It was not a warp jump as the aliens knew it. It was something different. A precise repositioning that placed the ship dangerously close to the alien fleet's center. The aliens screamed in surprise. Their sensors were unable to detect how the ship had moved. Some thought it was multiple ships. Others feared some hidden fleet was operating nearby. Chaos erupted in their communications. "What is it doing?" shouted an officer, his voice panicked. "It's impossible," another said. "It cannot be just one ship." Commander Terrell's voice cut through the confusion. "All units, focus. Do not let it escape. Identify all possible support vessels." But the human ship did not act aggressively. It moved with calm precision, positioning itself where it could be both defensive and observant. The crew was silent, but their eyes were sharp. Every alien move, every weakness was being recorded and analyzed. Kane walked along the bridge, observing his crew. "Remember," he said, "we are here to gather intelligence first. Show them humans are not easy prey, but leave the full display for when it matters most." The human officers nodded. They understood. Humans had long survived in hostile situations by being clever, adaptable, and calm under pressure. Their strength was not just in weapons, but in their minds. Meanwhile, in the alien fleet, fear had turned to frustration. Sensors continued to fail. Predictions were useless, and communication lines were clogged with false alarms. A single human ship had thrown the entire fleet into disarray. "Commander," an officer said nervously, "our drones report that the ship seems to anticipate our movements. It moves before we even decide our maneuvers." Terrell's claws tapped on the console in agitation. "Impossible. It cannot predict our moves. Every strategy we employ should overwhelm it." "And yet it does not," the officer said. "It remains calm, and it is observing us, almost as if it wants us to make mistakes." Kane leaned back in his chair, watching the alien reactions unfold. A flicker of amusement crossed his face. This was exactly what he wanted. Humans had a way of turning fear into opportunity, and right now the aliens were handing him both. The human drones zipped past alien ships, each one a tiny messenger of disruption. They emitted harmless but confusing signals, causing false readings and scrambled data. The alien fleet scrambled, trying to interpret the chaos, but their panic made every decision slower and less coordinated. "Phase 1, complete," Kane said quietly. "Prepare Phase 2. Keep our position but increase observation. Let them feel their weakness." The human crew worked efficiently, their movements silent and precise. They were a calm storm in the vast emptiness of space, perfectly synchronized and entirely unafraid. Back in the alien flagship, Commander Terrell's eyes widened in disbelief. It is a single ship?" he asked, voice trembling. "Yes, sir," the officer confirmed. "We see no evidence of additional vessels, but it moves with intelligence we cannot match." Terrell growled, a low, fearful sound. "Alert the fleet. Prepare for full engagement. We cannot allow one ship to disrupt everything we control." But even as he spoke, a nagging doubt lingered. Could they really fight a human warship and win? Could they even predict its next move? For now, they could only watch. And Intrepid sailed through the void, calm and prepared, the crew ready for whatever came next. Humans had faced impossible odds before. They had survived. And now, in the deep darkness of space, they were about to prove that no alien fleet, no matter how large or powerful, was truly ready for what humans could do. The alien fleet could not believe what was happening. Their sensors had tracked the massive human warship as it moved with impossible precision, slipping past their drones and false readings. Every attempt to intercept it had failed. Every calculation they made seemed flawed, as if the ship anticipated their every action. Commander Terrell's claws tapped nervously against the edge of his console. "Bring all units into formation," he ordered, his voice sharp. "We cannot allow it to slip through again." "Yes, Commander," the officers replied, though unease tinged their voices. The fleet adjusted, shifting into what they believed was a perfect defensive perimeter. But the human ship was not just moving, it was observing. Every tiny human maneuver seemed calculated to expose weaknesses, to test their systems without revealing its true strength. On board Intrepid, Captain Adrian Kane leaned over the navigation console, eyes calm and sharp. "They are trying to trap us," he said quietly. "Good, let them try. Their mistakes will show us everything we need to know." Lieutenant Vera, standing beside him, nodded. "Their formation is rigid, sir. They cannot adapt quickly enough." "Shall we engage?" Kane shook his head. "Not yet. Engagement is about timing. First we observe, then we act." The human ship sent out small, near-invisible drones again. They weaved through the alien fleet like silver sparks, sending back endless streams of data. Every alien ship that tried to intercept them failed. Every weapon fired was easily dodged. The aliens were growing frantic. "Commander, our calculations are failing." one officer shouted. Every time we adjust, it moves first. Terrell's eyes narrowed. It cannot predict us. No ship can. It is cheating somehow. One of the alien advisors, older and more cautious, spoke up. Perhaps we underestimate them, Commander. Perhaps it is not technology alone. Perhaps their minds work differently. Perhaps they think faster than we do. Terrell's claws clenched. I don't care how it works. Bring it down now. But as the fleet scrambled into position, the human ship acted with calm confidence. Without firing a single weapon, it slipped past a group of alien interceptors, moving to a vantage point that gave it full view of the fleet's command ships. The aliens were stunned. One by one, their officers realized they had no clear strategy. Every approach they tried failed. Impossible, muttered an alien officer. It is not just fast. It is precise. Every move is calculated perfectly. Inside Intrepid, Kane smiled faintly. Observe them carefully, he said. Notice the panic. Notice the mistakes. That is the advantage humans always have, the mind. The alien fleet decided to respond aggressively. They launched drones en masse, attempting to overwhelm the human ship with numbers. The drones formed a cloud of metallic shapes, moving faster than anything the humans had seen before. Their goal was simple: encircle, attack, and disable. But the humans were ready. Intrepid's shield shimmered as the drones approached. Then a subtle pulse from the ship's energy emitters disrupted the drone's sensors. One by one, the alien drones spun out of control, crashing into each other or drifting harmlessly into space. Impressive, Lieutenant Vera said, watching the readings. They are fast, but we neutralized them without harming the fleet. Kane nodded. Humans never fight like aliens. Efficiency is key. Observe, adapt, and strike only when necessary. The alien commanders were confused. How? How did it do that? Terrell demanded. Our drones are advanced, countless in number. They should have overwhelmed it. They move unpredictably, an officer admitted. Every maneuver is unexpected. It is clever. The fleet's morale was sinking. Officers argued among themselves, some calling for full retreat, others insisting on engagement. Fear was spreading faster than any virus. They could not comprehend a single ship operating with such skill and calm. Kane watched carefully. They think they are in control, he said. Let them keep thinking that. Soon we will show them what humans can really do. The human ship then made a small strategic move. It positioned itself near the rear of the alien formation, a place the aliens considered safe. From there it launched a series of non-lethal probes. The probes emitted signals that disrupted the fleet's sensors further, making alien ships appear to move where they were not. Confusion spread like wildfire. What is happening? An alien officer screamed. Our fleet. Our formation. It is impossible to track each other. Terrell's claws shook. Focus! Do not let them deceive us. But even as he shouted, he knew it was too late. The human ship had already demonstrated control over the battlefield without firing a single destructive shot. The aliens could not comprehend it. Their calculations failed, their strategies collapsed, and their communication lines were flooded with conflicting information. On Intrepid, Kane watched the alien panic unfold. He could have destroyed the fleet in moments, but he did not. That was not the goal. The goal was to show the aliens humans were not to be underestimated. The goal was to demonstrate that intellect and calm could outperform size and firepower. Prepare for Phase 2, Kane said quietly. We will increase observation but remain ready to act if necessary. They must feel our control without realizing it fully. The crew nodded. Every officer knew their role perfectly. Every sensor, every display, every drone was a part of the plan. Humans were patient. They observed. They adapted. They did not panic, and that made them dangerous. The aliens tried one last tactic. They activated a series of energy nets, hoping to trap the human ship within a field it could not escape. Their calculations were meticulous, their timing precise. But the humans anticipated this. Intrepid adjusted its shields and engines in a synchronized pulse, slipping out of the field before it had fully activated. The aliens' attack failed and the energy nets collapsed harmlessly. Commander, an officer said, trembling. It cannot be stopped. Nothing we do works. Terrell growled low in his throat, a sound of frustration and fear. We are not ready for this. Retreat is, I don't know if it is even possible now. Meanwhile, Kane allowed a small smirk. Humans always find a way, he said softly. Even against impossible odds. The alien fleet began to pull back slightly, reassessing. They were not defeated yet, but they were shaken. Fear had crept into every ship, every mind, and humans had not fired a single shot. Kane watched them retreat. "Observe their reactions," he said to his crew. "This is more important than combat. Fear and respect are stronger than any weapon." Lieutenant Vera glanced at him. "Sir, they will not underestimate humans again." Kane shook his head slowly. "They may never understand humans fully," he said, "and that is our advantage. We think, adapt, and act in ways no one predicts. That is why we survive. That is why we win." As the alien fleet slowly withdrew, the human warship moved silently through the void. Its sensors scanned, its crew watched, and its captain planned the next steps. Humans had proven once again that intelligence, calm, and precision were more powerful than sheer numbers or overwhelming force. And in the darkness of space, the legend of the human warship began to grow. The aliens would remember this encounter, not just as a warning, but as the first glimpse of a force they could not control, could not predict, and could not defeat easily. The void remained silent, but the message was clear: humans were here, humans were clever, and humans were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. The alien fleet struggled to recover from their first encounter with the human warship. Commander Terrell paced the bridge of his flagship, claws tapping rhythmically against the console. Every officer around him looked tense, anxious, unsure of what to do next. They had never faced a foe like this, a single ship that seemed to think faster, move faster, and react before they even realized what was happening. "We cannot fight like this," said an officer nervously. "Every move we make fails. Our formations collapse. Our sensors cannot keep up." Terrell growled low in his throat. "We have no choice. We either act now or accept humiliation. Assemble the fleet. Prepare to engage again. This time, we must overwhelm it with numbers." "Yes, Commander," the officer said, though his tone betrayed doubt. Meanwhile, aboard Intrepid, the humans remained calm. Captain Kane studied the alien fleet through the sensors, noting each pattern, each flaw. He did not panic. Humans had always thrived in chaos, finding order where others saw only confusion. "Captain," Lieutenant Vera said, pointing to the screen, "the aliens are reorganizing. They are preparing a larger attack, trying to compensate for their previous failures." Kane nodded. "Good, let them do it. Every movement, every adjustment gives us information. Let's see how clever they really are." The human warship activated its advanced adaptive shields. These shields were not like anything the aliens had ever encountered. They could adjust instantly to energy patterns, deflecting attacks before they fully formed. The aliens launched waves of drones, missiles, and energy pulses, but every assault failed. One by one, the drones malfunctioned. The missiles fizzled out, and the energy pulses dispersed harmlessly against the human shields. "Impressive," Vera said. "They can't touch us." "Not just that," Kane replied. "Notice how they react. Panic spreads faster than fire in dry grass. Watch carefully. That is the real advantage." Inside the alien fleet, tension escalated. Officers argued loudly, claws gesturing wildly. "Retreat! Attack! We need more firepower! No!" Another officer shouted. "We cannot show weakness. We must act now." But no action worked. Every strategy the aliens attempted failed to account for human adaptability. The warship moved unpredictably, slipping through gaps in their formation, striking only when necessary, and never revealing its full capability. The human crew deployed a new set of drones, smaller and faster than before. These drones did not attack directly. Instead, they emitted signals that interfered with the alien fleet's sensors. Suddenly, ships appeared in multiple places at once, causing confusion. Some alien vessels collided with one another or overcompensated in panic, breaking the fleet's coordination entirely. "What is happening?" Commander Terrell barked, his voice filled with frustration. "They cannot be in two places at once." "They appear to be," one officer admitted. "Our sensors are giving false readings. We cannot track them properly." Kane watched carefully, analyzing every response from the alien fleet. "Notice their mistakes," he said. "Notice their fear. Humans use intelligence and observation better than weapons sometimes. That is why they survive." The alien fleet attempted a coordinated strike. Energy beams cut through space toward Intrepid. Drones swarmed in perfect patterns, and missiles raced forward at high speed. Yet the human warship responded with absolute precision. It shifted position slightly, adaptive shields flaring briefly to absorb energy pulses and launched countermeasures to redirect the missiles harmlessly into empty space. The aliens were stunned. How do they evade everything? One officer whispered, disbelief in his voice. Terrell's claws shook. They anticipate us. Every move we make, they are already prepared. Inside Intrepid, Kane leaned back slightly. They underestimate humans, he said to his officers. They assume size and numbers matter more than thought. That is their mistake. The human ship then demonstrated another advantage, rapid response drones that could repair and reconfigure instantly. When the aliens tried to damage the hull with concentrated energy, these drones repaired microfractures almost immediately. Every attempt to weaken the ship was met with a countermeasure that was invisible and precise. Adaptability is our strength, Kane said calmly. We adjust faster than they can predict. Alien officers looked at each other in growing fear. We are losing control, one admitted. We cannot fight them conventionally. Nothing works. The humans were not attacking aggressively yet. Their focus was observation, testing the alien fleet, learning patterns and exposing weaknesses. Humans had always used intelligence as a weapon as much as firepower. Kane's calm voice resonated through the bridge. Phase 3. Prepare psychological disruption. Make them doubt themselves. Do not destroy yet. Show them humans are clever, disciplined, and unpredictable. The humans launched a new set of subtle drones, invisible to alien visual sensors but detectable to their electronics. These drones created phantom signals, making it appear as though multiple warships were moving in and out of the fleet. The aliens began to miscalculate positions, firing at empty space or colliding with each other in panic. Commander, an officer shouted, there are more than one ship. We are surrounded. No, Terrell growled. Impossible. The humans watched silently as chaos spread among the alien fleet. Their calm composure contrasted sharply with the panicked energy of the aliens. Humans never rushed. Humans never panicked. Humans adapted, observed, and struck with precision. Kane smiled faintly. Notice, everyone, he said. They fear what they do not understand. That fear is as powerful as any weapon. Use it wisely. The alien fleet began to break formation entirely. Ships darted in every direction, trying to regain control but only creating more disorder. Drones collided, communication lines scrambled, and energy pulses misfired. Terrell slammed his claws on the console. Regroup, focus. We must contain it. But it was too late. The humans had demonstrated the first real lesson. Size, numbers, and raw firepower were meaningless against intelligence, calm, and adaptability. Kane allowed the humans to continue their subtle demonstrations. The aliens had not suffered real losses yet, but they were terrified of what might come. That terror, calm and silent, spread faster than any missile ever could. The human warship then made a bold move. Without firing a shot, it positioned itself behind the alien command ships where no one had expected it. From there, subtle signals disrupted the aliens' energy fields, creating brief malfunctions in propulsion and weapon systems. The aliens scrambled to correct them only to find more phantom ships appearing in their sensors. What are they doing? An alien officer asked, eyes wide with fear. They are controlling the battlefield without fighting, another whispered. Kane watched carefully, noting every reaction. Observe and learn, he said. This is what humans do best. Think, adapt, and act before anyone else realizes there is a choice to be made. Finally, the alien fleet began to withdraw slightly. They were not defeated, but they were shaken. Every officer had seen the same truth. Humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and unafraid. They were capable of turning fear into a weapon, and no alien technology could match that skill. Kane allowed a faint smile. Let them retreat. Let them think. The next move will be even more impressive. The human crew returned to their stations, monitoring the aliens' movements, recording every pattern, every hesitation, every misstep. They were calm, efficient, and prepared for whatever might come next. Humans had survived worse, faced greater threats, and adapted faster than anyone could predict. And in the quiet void of space, the alien fleet carried a new fear with them, a fear of humans, of their intelligence, of their calm in chaos, and of the unexpected ways they could dominate the battlefield without ever firing a full salvo. Intrepid sailed silently through the darkness, ready for the next encounter. Humans were patient. Humans were clever. Humans were dangerous, and the aliens had learned that lesson the hard way. The alien fleet drifted in uneasy silence. They had seen the human warship move, strike, and manipulate the battlefield without ever truly attacking. Commander Terrell's claws drummed on the console as he stared at the readings. Every calculation they made failed. Every plan crumbled. The aliens were starting to understand that numbers and firepower alone could not defeat this human vessel. "We must do something," said an officer, his voice tense. "We cannot allow one ship to humiliate our entire fleet. We have the numbers. We have the strength. We should attack all at once." Terrell shook his head. "That is exactly what they expect. And it will fail. Every time we try to overwhelm them, we lose control. We are being toyed with." Inside the human warship Intrepid, Captain Kane studied the alien fleet carefully. "They think they control the battlefield," he said quietly. "Let's show them how little control they really have." Lieutenant Vera, watching the screens, asked, "What do you propose, sir?" Kane smiled faintly. "We will not destroy them, not yet. We will make them doubt themselves, doubt each other. Humans fight better when they have to think, and they also know that fear is more powerful than any laser. It is time for Phase 4. The human warship began to move, not forward or backward, but side to side, subtly shifting its position. Small drones flitted around it, invisible to alien visual sensors, sending signals that created multiple phantom ships on the alien screens. Every alien sensor reported a different location, a different number of ships, and a different threat level. Inside the alien fleet, chaos spread. Officers shouted over one another, trying to interpret the readings. "They are behind us." "No, they are in front!" one screamed. "They appear in 5 different places at once." Another added, "Impossible." Terrell growled. "How can one ship do this?" The aliens attempted to reorganize, trying to regroup their forces, but every move created more confusion. The humans were not attacking directly. They were using intelligence, observation, and subtle manipulation to control the battle. The fleet was forced to react to ghost signals, chasing shadows and correcting mistakes that didn't exist. Kane leaned back in his chair. "Notice how fear spreads faster than energy," he said to his officers. "They cannot fight calmly. They cannot trust their own sensors. That is our advantage." The humans launched a second wave of drones, each smaller and faster than the first. These drones were designed not to attack, but to mimic the signatures of warships, creating a phantom fleet that appeared everywhere the aliens looked. Their screens filled with multiple human ships moving in impossible ways. "What is this?" an alien officer shouted. "There are hundreds of them. They surround us." Terrell's claws shook. "We are not surrounded. This is impossible. One ship cannot be everywhere." "Yes, Commander," the officer said, "but our sensors, our calculations, they cannot track it. They appear in multiple locations simultaneously." Kane smiled. "Observe their panic," he said. "It is working perfectly. When fear grows, mistakes follow." Inside the alien fleet, officers argued more fiercely. Some called for a full retreat. Others insisted on immediate attack. Their inability to coordinate created gaps in the formation. Ships collided, energy beams misfired, and drones crashed into one another. Every tiny failure amplified the next, and the human warship watched silently from its vantage point, noting every error. The humans did not fire a single destructive shot. They were using strategy, psychology, and intelligence. Their calm and patience made them untouchable. Humans had always survived in situations where sheer strength failed. They thrived when others panicked. Kane's voice was calm but commanding. "Phase 4 complete. Prepare Phase 5. We will show them humans are precise, disciplined, and unstoppable, not by firepower but by strategy." The alien fleet, now shaken, attempted a coordinated strike. They fired energy pulses at the locations of the phantom ships, hoping to hit the real one. But the humans had anticipated this. Intrepid shifted slightly, adaptive shields flaring just long enough to absorb energy pulses without affecting the ship. The alien attacks hit empty space, creating more confusion. What are they doing?" One officer whispered, fear in their voice. "We cannot hit them, they move. Before we even attack." "They anticipate everything," another admitted. "It is not technology. It is thinking. Their minds work faster than ours." Kane nodded. "Exactly. That is what makes humans so dangerous. Never underestimate the power of thought, discipline, and observation. The aliens, desperate to regain control, tried another tactic. They activated a wide-range jamming field, hoping to block human sensors and communications. But the humans had already accounted for this. The field affected nothing on Intrepid. Instead, it disrupted the alien fleet's own systems, creating more phantom readings and amplifying the chaos. Inside the alien flagship, Terrell's claws shook with frustration. We are being deceived. Everything we see is false. We cannot trust our own sensors. Yes, Commander, an officer admitted. They are controlling us without firing a shot. The humans had achieved exactly what they wanted. The alien fleet was paralyzed by fear, mistrust, and confusion. Every move they attempted only made matters worse. Intrepid remained calm, precise, and prepared, observing the effects of its strategy without unnecessary haste. Prepare for final demonstration, Kane said quietly. We will show them humans are not just clever. We will show them humans are disciplined, patient, and in control, even when it appears they are not. The human warship then made a subtle but bold move. It positioned itself behind the alien command ships, the heart of the fleet, a place no one expected. From there, tiny drones sent signals that caused momentary malfunctions in propulsion and energy distribution. The aliens panicked as their own ships lost coordination, some drifting off course, others colliding. Commander, an officer shouted. They are inside our formation. How? Terrell's claws shook violently. Impossible. They cannot be here. One ship cannot do this. Yes, Commander, another officer said quietly, fear in his voice. We are losing control. Kane allowed a faint smile. Notice, he said to his crew. Fear is a weapon. Intelligence is a weapon. Patience is a weapon. They cannot see the battlefield clearly because we control their mind, even from a distance. The aliens attempted one final coordinated strike, hoping to overwhelm the human warship. But the humans had already studied every pattern, every tactic. Adaptive shields flared, countermeasures activated, and the energy pulses missed their target entirely. The alien fleet was now demoralized, terrified, and unsure of their own systems. Inside Intrepid, the crew worked silently, noting every reaction. They were calm, disciplined, and precise, the exact opposite of the alien fleet. Humans did not panic. Humans did not rush. Humans used observation, intelligence, and patience as their greatest weapons. The alien fleet began to withdraw, shaken and humiliated. They had not suffered losses, but they were aware of one undeniable truth. Humans were unpredictable, intelligent, and completely unafraid. They had dominated the battlefield without ever using their full strength. Kane allowed a faint smile. Let them think, he said. Let them doubt themselves. We will show them the full power of humans when it matters most. The alien fleet drifted back into the darkness of space, still trying to recover, still trying to understand what had happened. They had encountered humans before, but never like this. Never had a single ship controlled the battlefield without firing a full salvo, without revealing its full strength, and without causing fear with just strategy and intelligence. Intrepid sailed silently, ready for the next encounter. Humans had demonstrated their greatest advantage, their minds. Every move was calculated, every observation precise, and every strategy designed to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast. And in the cold, endless void, the aliens carried a new fear, a fear of humans, of their discipline, their intelligence, and the unpredictable ways they could dominate without ever showing their full power. The legend of the human warship grew, not from destruction, but from calm, precise, and intelligent control of the battlefield. The aliens would never forget it. The alien fleet drifted in uncertainty. Commander Terrell stared at the readings on his console, his claws gripping the edge tightly. The human warship had demonstrated abilities beyond imagination. It had outmaneuvered, outthought, and outsmarted an entire fleet without firing a single destructive shot. Now, the fleet faced a reality they could not deny. Humans were not just another species. They were a force unlike any other. Commander, an officer said hesitantly, we cannot fight them. Every attempt fails. Their strategy is unmatched. We may lose everything if we continue. Terrell's jaw tightened. We cannot simply retreat. Our honor, our reputation, everything is at stake. But sir, another officer whispered, we are not prepared. They think faster than we do. They act before we even realize our plan. One ship, one single ship, Terrell growled, frustrated and fearful. Enough. Signal the fleet. We need to negotiate. We cannot win. We are not ready. Meanwhile, aboard the human warship Intrepid, Captain Kane observed the alien hesitation. The humans had achieved their goal. The aliens were now unsure of themselves and their entire fleet. Kane leaned back, eyes calm, as if nothing could disturb him. They are seeking terms, Lieutenant Vera said, looking at the communications console. They are opening a channel, sir. Kane nodded. Good. Let's see how they approach it. A holographic message appeared in the communication chamber of Intrepid. The alien commander's image flickered, tense and wary. Human captain, the alien spoke carefully. We recognize your capabilities. We wish to discuss terms to avoid unnecessary conflict. We seek peace. Kane studied the alien carefully. You have learned something important, he replied calmly. Humans do not underestimate threats. We do not rely on numbers alone. We think, we adapt. We act precisely. That is how we survive. That is why you are here asking for terms. Terrell's voice was strained but firm. Yes, we understand that now. Your ship, your species, is formidable. We cannot challenge you directly without risking total defeat. Kane nodded slowly. Humans do not seek war without reason, but we will defend ourselves if threatened. Intelligence, discipline, and strategy are our greatest weapons. You have witnessed them today. Remember this lesson well. Inside the alien fleet, officers exchanged uneasy glances. They had faced humans before in minor skirmishes, but never like this. A single warship had toppled their confidence, exposed weaknesses, and forced them to reconsider everything. Humans were no longer just clever opponents, they were dominant, disciplined, and unpredictable. The alien message continued. We request terms of peace. We are prepared to withdraw and respect your territory. We ask only for safe passage and assurance that no further conflict will occur. Kane considered the message carefully. Humans had always negotiated from strength. They did not crush their enemies unnecessarily. They used diplomacy wisely, backed by clear capability. Very well, he said finally. We will grant your request. You will withdraw from this sector. Any aggressive action in the future will be met with full human response. The alien commander bowed slightly, relief evident in his posture. Agreed. We will comply. Your actions have taught us a lesson we will not forget. Kane's crew remained calm and focused. The humans had achieved victory without firing full weapons. They had outmaneuvered and outsmarted an entire fleet, demonstrating that human intelligence and discipline could dominate in any situation. As the alien fleet began to retreat, the legend of the human warship spread silently among the stars. Ships that had never faced humans directly now whispered of their power, their discipline, and their unpredictability. One ship, one species, had shown that size and numbers were meaningless without thought and courage. Inside Intrepid, Kane walked through the bridge, observing his crew. Well done, he said quietly. This was not about destruction. This was about showing them the strength of humans. Observation, strategy, and calm, those are our weapons. Remember this lesson, Lieutenant Vera nodded. Sir, do you think they will return? Kane considered it briefly. Perhaps. But they will never underestimate humans again. They will remember this encounter as a warning. And if they come back, they will come with caution, not arrogance. The crew returned to their stations, monitoring the alien retreat, but ready for anything. Humans had always prepared for the unexpected. They thrived in situations where fear and chaos reigned. The difference was simple. Humans remained calm, focused, and clever. Commander Terrell watched the human ship from the alien flagship. Fear had shifted to respect. One warship had shown his fleet that humans were more than just a species. They were a dominant, intelligent, and disciplined force in the galaxy. We have learned, Terrell admitted quietly, almost to himself. We must respect them. We cannot predict them fully. We cannot match their intelligence or patience. They are different. They are exceptional. The alien fleet continued its withdrawal, still tense and shaken. They would return to their homeworlds with a new understanding of humanity. One ship had altered their perception of the entire species. Aboard Intrepid, Kane looked out into the void. Stars glimmered silently, vast and infinite. The humans had won without destruction, without unnecessary risk, and without revealing all of their power. They had achieved victory in a way that demonstrated skill, discipline, and intelligence, the greatest weapons of all. Humans always find a way, Kane said quietly, almost to himself. Even when the odds are impossible, even when others doubt them. Observation, thought, and courage, those are what make us strong. Lieutenant Vera smiled. Sir, this will be remembered. Among humans and aliens alike, Kane nodded. Yes. And when they tell the story, they will remember one truth. Never underestimate humans. Not for numbers, not for technology, not for anything. We survive. We adapt, we think. And when the moment comes, we act with precision. The human warship sailed silently through the stars, calm and ready for whatever came next. The aliens had learned their lesson, not through fear of destruction, but through respect for intelligence and capability. One encounter had changed the balance of power, and the humans had done it without firing a full salvo. In the vast emptiness of space, the legend of Intrepid and its crew spread quietly. Across alien fleets and distant worlds, whispers of the human warship's cunning, discipline, and power grew. One species had shown that strategy, patience, and intelligence could dominate over raw strength and numbers. Captain Kane stood at the observation deck, gazing at the distant stars. The galaxy will remember this, he said. Not because we destroyed anyone, but because humans proved what they can do. And we are only beginning. The crew around him smiled, proud but calm. Humans had once again shown their greatest strength, the ability to face the impossible, adapt, and emerge victorious. And in the void of space, silent and vast, the human warship continued its journey. One ship, one species, had proven that intelligence, calm, and discipline could stand above all else. The galaxy would never forget it. For now, the humans were at peace, their mission complete. But somewhere in the corners of distant worlds, alien fleets were already planning, remembering, and fearing the day they encountered humans again. And when that day came, they would remember one truth above all. Humans are clever, humans are disciplined, and humans are a force unlike any other. Intrepid sailed silently through the stars, calm, prepared, and ready. Humans had shown their edge, and the galaxy had taken note.